And paradise is 40 degrees. Oh my goodness. Hard to believe, huh? The end of March. Tomorrow's April Fool's Day, and it is 40 degrees. Oh well, we'll be praying for that in a couple months. So what's going on? Well, I adjusted the days of inventory to 58, and we did have it at 71. However, because we have had brisk sales all month of 92, I adjusted the current inventory to the 92 sales per day figure. So we have 5,342 available listings, and 3,963 of them are single family homes, of which 27% are at our median price. And our median price so far had held steady all month at 425,000. Now I know that it did dip up a little bit to 427,000 for a day or two, but it went back down to 425,000. So we'll see. We shall see what happens there. We listed 107 homes yesterday, which is 4 more than we closed. But of course, today is closing day. So we shall see how those numbers are affected, and we will look into that on Monday. One of the things that happened this month is that we sold over 113 $1 million homes, $1 million+ homes. Now guess what? We're at 3.1. We crossed the 2 line sales per day, and now we're at 3 sales per day. The $1 million homes are still performing out there. And that's just amazing. What else is going on here that is notable and for you to be able to just spit it right out? Well, the non-owner occupieds, they're taking 26% of our market, and they're doing about 20 sales today. That's averaged over this year. And our average over this year is 77. So we have increased that because of the increased sales here in March. So in March, we're at 92 per day. So I think because we're going into the heavy season, April is supposed to be the best time for your sellers to list to get the most for their money. Hopefully they're doing that and they're ready for that. And if you're in the group, you will have the staging guides and the remodeling guides to hand out when you do your listing presentation. The other thing I would like to say is that sellers right now have to understand, and you have to be able to articulate that there are so many buyer programs out there to help the buyers buy. And sellers may have to contribute some of the closing costs to the buyer. However, if they purchased, if they've been in that home a while, right, then they have equity, and they can certainly afford to help that buyer, because when they go to buy, they would like the seller to help them as well. Kind of a reciprocal idea. So what I want to just talk briefly about, we're going to get into some stats here, but I want to look at this first. This was last year, everybody. We were last year, the end of the month, we were at 465,000 for the median priced home. Yeah. And we only had 500 of them on the market. And that was only 26% of the market last year. We only had 2,630 available homes last 1 year ago, and 20 days of inventory. Somehow we managed to get through that. And if you look, that was 2022, and we were selling 135 homes a day. Now in 2021, the median price was 365,000, and we were selling 157 homes per day. So the market has certainly gone back to a more normal market than we had last year. Wanted to bring that to your attention. If you look at the month-to-date sales compared to same month last year, I just said we were selling 145 last March. This March, we're selling 92 per day. So this is a new chart. If you just want to print this one out for whatever purpose you have, use it as a reel, use it as a post whatever you want to do with it. It's all yours. And then what else did I do here? We've got the $1 million home sales, and I showed you or told you earlier we had crossed the three plus line. So we have sold year to date $276 million plus homes. We have available $749 million plus homes, which is 14% of the market. And so we're now surpassed 2020. We're closing in on last year. We'll see. 3 a day wouldn't be bad. That would be a nice norm, I would imagine. So that is a good stat. And then what else do we have here? These are the non-owner occupieds. Now, we're selling 20 per day. And last year we were doing 36 per day. Same, see, let's bring March up last year, see what we were doing here. Last year, we were doing 46 a day. So we're less than half of what we were doing last year. And put that back up. So that's 20 now is 37, is now 26% of the market. So January through March, we did 1,792 non-owner occupied homes, and some of those are second homes. So keep that in mind. That's not just all investors for rentals. What else do we have here for you? And this is the daily recap. We put that all in one neat little bundle for you. So that's a separate slide as well. Just showing you what the daily activity is. And what we didn't include in there is the $1 million, because we think that's a separate slide for another day, or you can combine them as well. So price ranges. I will update this over the weekend, or maybe I'll wait till Monday morning when we have all the closings in and see where things, this is actually going to change probably. I would assume that we're going to have a shift here somewhere. And the shift might just be the 425 and over. Something's going to, I think, shift down here. I know that probably the year-to-date $1 million homes will shift. But we shall see. Anyway, that will be for Monday. I wanted to talk next about something that was in the news. And this was in the news the other day, but we didn't get a chance to actually talk about it. But the Nevada lawmakers have looked to close a loophole on real estate transfer taxes. Now, we all know what real estate transfer taxes are. They're $5.30 per thousand. And you will be astounded at this, what the Review Journal is reporting. The journal is saying that at least $27.5 billion worth of transactions in the Las Vegas area, which is more than 24 sales involving hotels, casinos, malls, and other properties, mostly on or near the Strip, had closed since 2007 without any reported real estate transfer taxes. Oh my goodness. And the reporter Yeager said that Tuesday he wasn't aware of the issue until the Review Journal reported it, adding the coverage got him interested in the revenue at stake. The schools and low-income housing aspect definitely piqued his interest, he said. Of course, that money, that's where that money goes to. None of the businesses or people involved in the deals tracked by the Review Journal were accused of wrongdoing by any governmental entity, as far as the Review Journal could determine. Yeager said he doesn't think anyone was breaking the law or doing anything wrong with the sales. But he said he views the deal structure as a tax loophole that typically benefits the wealthiest and the largest corporations. So you'll probably see something change in that area of our taxes. And I personally think they should have paid the tax. I don't know why I'm paying it and they're not paying it. And so that's another whole 20 minutes of conversation, I'm sure, but that was quite something. So hopefully they're going to close that loophole. The other thing I just wanted to bring to your attention, and I said this the other day, is the legislature has upon their desk a proposal that any evictions have to go to court first. You just can't post them and say, hey, we're kicking you out in 30 days or whatever, or we're kicking you out because you didn't pay your rent, or because you're negligent, or because you make too much noise. All those things that are lease violations and negligence perhaps on the part of the tenant and grounds for eviction will have to go to court for the judge to decide and for the tenant to defend themselves. I understand it from a couple aspects, but I hope that it doesn't clog up our court system. And it's already backed up when it comes to tenants and homeowners, investors. So we shall see what happens. Anyway, if that's the only thing that happens in the legislature when it comes to our real estate, I won't complain. I will not complain about it. So a lot of stats have come out. I'm moving on to the next and last section of the show today. I listened to Byron Lazine, and he's on the wee hours of the morning. And he was talking this morning about the underlying inflation, and that it's been reported by Bloomberg that it had cooled in February. So the U.S. real personal spending softened after surging at the start of the year, which was part of the interest rates going up because of the inflation. So this shows that there was a small gain in the underlying. It says a gain, but it was really a decrease. So it went down. It didn't even go down 0.5%. It went down, I think, like 0.25%. But anything is better than it going up, because that's why Jerome Powell is saying that he's keeping the interest rates high, because inflation is high. But if we've stopped spending so much money and the inflation shows that we're coming down a little bit, that is a change in the inflation adjusted personal consumption, which is what they look at when they determine right now about the interest rates. So that was a bit of good news. The only thing I can tell you is, March, April, May, June, we're out spending money if we're buying and selling houses and people are remodeling. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not too hopeful that that's going to maintain decreasing. So then we have from Realtor.com, the active listing count. So if you look here over the years, here's the chart over the years. Right now, and these, I will caveat this by telling you, these are across the country. But I think it's important that we do know what's going on across the country, because Las Vegas is always a little bit different than everybody else. So what this is saying is that as of March 2023, there were 562,000 listings in the United States. And that's up almost 60% from last year, which is why I wanted to show you what was going on here with us last year. And as you saw, I mean, we had 20 days of inventory. We had under 4,000 homes. I mean, it was, let's see if I could bring that one up again. This one here, put this down for a second. 2,600 homes and 20 days of inventory compared to what we have today. So that's why there is this. This is across the country. So this is just everywhere across the United States. The active listing count is up, because last year, the interest rate hadn't gone up yet, right? Enough said about that. Then the total listing count is up 9.3% year over year. And so for the whole year, we've got a 9.3% increase. I'm not too sure, and maybe you can tell me, what is the difference in these two? Active listing count versus total listing count. I guess this includes, I would think this one, let's see, let me back up here. Let's see if we can do, okay. So actives are 562, and if all listings are 955, that means that there's a couple 100,000 under contract. I'm pretty sure that's what they're referring to, because Realtor.com does keep track, and NAR keeps track of pending sales as an indicator of where we're headed in the next couple months. Then we have then here is the pending listing count. Probably if we added those two together, we would get that other figure. So they're saying pending right now is down 24% from last year. Yes, makes sense because we were selling more homes. We had less inventory because we were selling more. And that's the pending. It is down 24%. It means less closings for us, but actually, I mean, we were selling more homes. They were priced higher. The interest rates were lower. It was one of those, just those bubbles in time that are gone. For all of those things to happen again, and they were all after the pandemic. I know there had to be pent up buyers, people weren't spending money, people were saving money. So the interest rate went down because there was little or no inflation when you're not spending money. We had more monies in the bank during the pandemic than I've ever seen. Trillions, I mean, more trillions. We always have trillions, but that was like a lot of trillions. And I can't remember the number, I'm sorry. But anyway, we did have more. Newly listed homes were down 20%. Yes, we know that people aren't listing their homes right now because if they go to buy, the interest rates are higher. So that's what this chart basically says to me. When you look at the days on the market, now this says 18 days that more than last year. So homes are on the market more than 18 days than they were last year. That's not a real news alert the media. I mean, that's not a big deal, but it is an indication of our market, and perhaps it's just taking longer for people to get their act together when it comes to the higher interest rates. I'm not real sure what drives that figure. Interesting. Back up here a second. Let's look at that again. Time on market was 18 days more. Yeah. Well, that goes along with everything else. And I'm sure that there's some statistician out there that can put those all these numbers together and tell you why in a neat little chart, why the days, why we have more days of inventory on the market. So before they close. Median listing price. Look at this. March is 424,495. Yeah. And compared to last March. Now, that's not so in Vegas, right? Ours is lower this year than last year. So let's look at that again. Pull that chart up again. And here, put this down. Okay. Yeah, remember 465. And so what they're saying is across the country, the price has gone up, but ours has gone down because ours went up so high, is what I would venture my opinion. So the mortgage rate shock saw homes sit on the market longer, but days on market remain below pre-pandemic levels. Wow. This is an interesting chart because it's saying the mortgage rate shock saw homes sit on the market longer. Okay. But days on the market remain below pre-pandemic levels. That's interesting. So prior to the pandemic, in February of 2020 or March of 2020, the days on market were 61. Now it's only 54. I would like to know why, but they don't tell us. That's interesting. And then inventories recovered from the pandemic lows, but remains well below pre-pandemic levels. And this is now Fortune Magazine is using this from realtor.com. So here we go. 562,000 homes on the market. Pre-pandemic in February, we had 934,000 in March of 2020. That is amazing, right? That is amazing. And in 2019, we had 1.1 million. In 2018, 1.1 million. And in March of 2017, 1.1 million. So you can see that inventory was high And now it's gone down, 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 down. But now hopefully, well, it's still down because of the interest rates. So there's a lot of things I could have put on this chart that would indicate what drives some of these, why we were steady for 3 years, 3.5 years, pretty much 17, 18, 19, and 20. And then all of a sudden, everything shifted. And I think what they should have done is put the interest rates that we had at these various times and the median price. Maybe, I always have good intentions of going back and doing more research, but I really would like to research this one. And I think Jimmy might want to use this in some of his classes that he teaches as well, because this really would tell people what is going on in the market. And so if you know what the interest rates were, and if you know what the median prices were, I think that's what should have been added to this chart. And it won't take me long to figure that out. So I will go back and find that out. And I'm going to write down that on Monday, I'm promising to do that. Okay. I'm going to write that down, write myself a letter, and see, this is slide 9. So I am going to find more info for slide 9. And on Monday, maybe then we'll have something that will make sense to the consumer. This is valuable information, but it doesn't tell the story. And the last slide we have says that there isn't much inventory coming onto the housing market. So, okay, so this is basically 2017 through, we had 500,000 of active listings, and now we're down at 350. So we're down quite a bit. We're down 30%. We will see what happens. And that we all believe, and I will prove that when I go back to this chart and hopefully bring it to you Monday and show you how the interest rates affect the median price and the inventory and our activity and our sales. All right, so that is it for that. We have a class coming up on Monday. Let's see if I have that scrolling across the bottom. Jimmy's doing his class on, it's a great class too. It's a class on the buyer brokers. And the buyer brokers is quite an important document. And the division says that, the guideline says that if you have a buyer, they have to have signed it. Now, there's a lot of things going on if you're listening to some of the Housing Wire and what's going on in the Department of Justice. And they are trying to say that if a seller pays your commission to the buyer's agent, that's a conflict of interest because they're paying their competitors. And the argument, of course, with the major corporations, you have Remax, Compass, Home Services, Rheology, which now has changed their name. They're all saying that, and I don't think I have that. No. They're all saying that they're helping the seller. It's not hurting the seller, it's helping the seller. So where they were headed with all of this was to basically say that the buyer should be paying the buyer's agent. That's where we're headed with it. So we shall see what happens. I thought I might have another chart here for you, but I don't. I will hope you all have a great weekend. And a lot of things have gone on with Instagram, but I don't have time to show them to you. I'm sure that you're aware of a lot of the things. Their Instagram now, you can retarget your audiences. You can send notes in through their direct message system now. The target audience is the big thing for me. And they're giving more a more advantage to people who do your reels. And of course, in your reels, using photos as well as videos. I'm not so sure why they're doing that. And my mentor, Jason Pantena, isn't sure why they're doing that either. It might be, just might be, because maybe the videos aren't getting as much action. I mean, what else would be the reason? I don't know. I will see you all on Monday. I'm going to work hard today on creating a new class for property management. Jimmy Degg and I are going to be giving that. He's going to be presenting it to the symposium in the next couple months, the Property Management Symposium. And I'm honored to be able to help him create that class. So I will be busy this weekend doing that, and hopefully you all will be busy building your business too. Love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Love your likes, love your subscribes, love when you comment and tell the rest of the world what you think about what we talked about today and some of these charts that may seem boring, but however, they're important that you know at least when somebody says, hey, how's the market? I'll post these things in the group. Oh, also, I think starting next week, if you're on YouTube, you're going to be able to download the slides and all the information as well. Kane is working on that real hard, and that'll be great. So all the slides I showed today will be available on YouTube with just one click, and you can download them. And you can subscribe to get them downloaded to you every day. So that's going to be something new and